Thanks for watching. Today we're going to talk about how to use ChatGPT, the artificial intelligence chatbot, to create auto hotkey scripts that will allow you to enhance the usage of Mozaik software. Sounds like a mouthful? Let's get into it. So the ultimate goal of this project was to allow our office to be able to print a paper that will be able to be scanned on a barcode at our CNC controller, and then have the controller automatically open up the job that's on the sheet. And this eliminated a lot of back and forth on like what job they had open, just in case there's a few letters that were different or there's a few different types of the job. This way, when it comes from the office, it's exactly the job that's been printed, gets opened on the CNC machine. We had to really do a lot of workarounds to make this work, but ultimately it did work, and it works great.
Now, some of you people will say, why don't you use the barcode that's built into the bottom left corner of the optimizer and just scan that? Well, in case you didn't know, all that's actually included in this barcode is that S01R01.TAP. So it's not actually any usable information. If you scan it, it's not going to do anything other than just show those letters. I think Mozaik is intending on using them in the future, but currently there's literally nothing set up for those barcodes.
So what is AutoHotkey? AutoHotkey is a scripting language that's developed for Windows computers. It allows you to do a heaping ton of things. In our purpose, we're using it to accept a so whenever a shortcut is displayed on the keyboard, it will grab that shortcut and then it'll do a task. So that's all I wanted to do, and that shortcut is, for us, it's CNC5. So if anytime, even if the keyboard types CNC5, that's just a number, something that it could be anything when you're setting it up. That's just what we use as a trigger, because when you're scanning with a USB barcode scanner, a computer just thinks a USB barcode scanner is a keyboard input, so AutoHotkey can recognize a certain shortcut. So where does ChatGPT come into play here? ChatGPT can write code scripts that are built for AutoHotkey. So you can, in layman's terms, ask ChatGPT to write a script for AutoHotkey that will trigger when this happens to do this and that. Now, one thing about ChatGPT is, and it's similar to the way G-code works or any kind of code works, it's only going to do what you specifically tell it to do. So you have to create you can write it out in normal human language, but you have to write it out very clearly. And some of you have done the peanut butter experiment in grade 3, peanut butter and jelly experiment, where your teachers, you have to write out instructions on how to get your teacher to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You have to make sure that they're, 1, open the jar lid, 2, go to the drawer, 3, pull out a butter knife, 4, get the butter knife in your right hand, 5, dip it into the peanut butter, blah blah blah. You get what I'm saying? You have to be very clear on how you want ChatGPT to write this code in order for it to do the right thing. Now, before we get into ChatGPT and how to build this script out, we have a few other things that we have to set up within Mozaik, and setting up the barcode font and stuff like that. So we'll do that first. So you can search the internet for free 3 of 9 extended barcode font. I'm not going to go into how to add that barcode font into Windows. There's lots of YouTube videos to explain how to do that. FastCap has an excellent video on barcodes and how to use them. specifically explaining free 3 of 9, and the fact that they made that video has a lot to do with the fact that we were able to even pull this off, because it helped us through a lot of the bumps in the road. So first you need to load free 3 of 9 font, barcode font, into your Windows computer. It has to be in the Windows computer that your office is in. So whatever you're going to be printing from, that's the computer you need to load it on. If you want to be sure, just load it on every computer in your whole shop. Safer that way. The next thing you have to do is go to Mozaik, and because the print dialog in the optimizer is not all you actually get when you do this is you only get like a view of this and this here. So there's not a whole lot of capabilities in what you can do printing right through the patterns. So we use the labels as well. So I set up the other computer with a different kind of label other than our parts label, and that label is the one that we set up for exporting the job out to the shop floor. So go back to Mozaik. You have to go to File, Print. You have to have a job open for this. Print Labels, and you're going to hit this little Edit button right here. Now you should have one nested label in here somewhere. You're going to use that one. This is our parts label. So when we're exporting a job, this is what our parts label is set out as. So I copied this one and I made it 8.5 by 11. Here you are. So this one here, 11 by 8.5. It's printing it in landscape. Sometimes these barcodes can get pretty long, so I needed to put it in landscape so the barcode would run full width. So what I ended up doing was the real capabilities in this, so in this template editor, is you can take any variables in Mozaik. So here you have your variables drop down. So for example, we needed the job name. So you can drag that in. You can drag it in and drop it here. I'm not going to go into how to set up your labels today. We'll do that another time, but for now, all we need to know is we can import a variable into the label editor. Another feature that I didn't know until recently, you can take a text box, so you can make your own text box, and then any of the variables that are available in that variable menu, so any of these things, as long as you put the squiggle brackets around it, you can have it right in there. So you can actually write a job. So you know this, you can write anything in here. This job is for, and if you write squiggle bracket in the same way that if you drag it in, job name, see how you see it right here, squiggle bracket, JOB underscore NAME, squiggle bracket. And if you click OK, and you preview that, you can see it's inserted in assembly cart, because that's what this job was named. You can do that for any of these variables, and that's where once we learned this, we knew we could build our own barcode in order to make it open up on the optimizer on the CNC controller. So first you load free 3 of 9 barcode font. Then you'll see that you'll have 3 of 9 extended. That's the one you want to use because it gets a little bit more characters than just free 3 of 9. So you will, let's get rid of the one we just put in there. So this is our barcode. Let's edit this text. So as you can see, the text that this barcode says, all it says is star CNC5. That's our shortcut, CNC5, and then job name. So it's inserting CNC5 job name with 2 stars on the outside. The stars are so that's a feature of the actual scanners themselves. You can't use a free 3 of 9 barcode without, or it won't dink in or scan in unless you put 2 asterisks on the ends of the barcode itself. Once you do that, it'll actually dink in. So this is my shortcut. this is my job name, so it's going to dump in assembly cart when I scan it at the CNC controller. And if I just take this now and I bring it to the CNC controller with nothing else and I scan it, it's going to say, I'm not at my CNC controller, but I'm just going to type it CNC5 assembly space cart. That's what it's going to say. So what I want AutoHotkey to do is I want AutoHotkey to recognize when CNC5 is typed, and then I want it to capture everything after that, and then we're going to do a few more steps after that in order to get it to open on the CNC controller. Okay, so now we come back to ChatGPT, where we have to get it to do the script for us. I know a little bit about code, just mostly through G code, and maybe a little bit of research, but I'm not no expert at all. Like you ask me to look at code, I really can only do so much. It's a very minute amount of code that I know. So ChatGPT does 99% of the efforts here. So what I just pre-wrote this. What ChatGPT does well is if you give it instructions in chunks instead of just a huge long novel, it'll perform the action so much better, because you're slowly introducing the functions that you want it to do. So what I'm asking it to do here is build an AutoHotkey script with version 1 syntax, because and that's AutoHotkey version 1. ChatGPT doesn't know version 2 yet, because it was only updated in 2021, or sorry, ChatGPT was updated in 2021, so it doesn't know version 2 syntax yet. It's a little bit different. So stick with using version 1 syntax. There's really not much of a difference, other than the fact that ChatGPT can write it way easier. So I'm asking them, the intention is to scan a barcode with a USB scanner that will then perform some actions. Let's first work on the trigger portion first. The trigger will be CNC5, as this is the beginning of every barcode. After CNC5, we will need to save the additional information in the scan. For example, the scan will look like this with the job name less the quotes. Save this as the variable job name. So display a message box that confirms that the name is coming through correctly. So that's basically the debugging part. I want to know that every time I scan something, it'll pop up with a little message box that says the job name. If it says the job name properly, then ChatGPT has built the code correctly. So you hit enter, ChatGPT comes up with some code. So we take this code, we copy the code. Now, the other thing we have to do is go to AutoHotkey. We need to download it, but we need to download version 1.1. I already have it downloaded and installed, so just quickly download and install that. Now on your desktop, you're just going to go new text document, and you can name it whatever you want. We'll just call it open job. So you're going to double click it, you're going to paste that in there. Save this normally, just hit the save button. You can close it, and then all you have to do is double click and then change your extension to APK, or AHK, sorry, AHK, AutoHotkey. It'll come up with a rename file. Do you want to do that? Yes. So then you can see it changes the title here. Now when you right click on it, you'll get a few different things like run script, run with UI access, edit script, compile script. Compile script is once you're done this, you can run it as an exe file, and you can export it, set it in your startup folder, and then it'll automatically open every time the CNC controller is opened up. So what you need is your barcode scanner set up on your computer that you're working on. I don't have it plugged in here, but we'll just go through the steps. So let's assume that ChatGPT got it working correctly, and for me it did work correctly the first time. If you didn't, just write what happened when you scanned. So what you have to do, is double click it. You should have in your system tray a little H, and if you right click on that, you can see that it's the script that you've built and is currently running and waiting for you to type CNC 5. So you need to have your barcode scanner set up, because once you have your Mozaik set up, then you print a page and you're going to do a test. You scan your barcode and it's going to do something. In this case, it's going to open up a message box that says what the job name is. Just click OK, and then you can exit the script that you just wrote, or that ChatGPT just wrote. So if they successfully did it, then all you have to do is move on to the next task. In our case, this script worked, so we're going to go ahead and go to the next part of the task. Okay, so in your Mozaik folder on the computer, not the OneDrive part, you want to find the Mozaik settings folder, and here you'll have a bunch of .dat files. You're going to want to open up, just so you can see, you don't need to open this up, but just so you can see what the way in which we're working around how to get it open on the optimizer. What I want ChatGPT to do is I want it to open this file, opt.mru. So I'm assuming the MRU stands for most recent something, because this is the jobs that have been opened most recently in the optimizer, and then this one's the jobs that have been most recently opened in the, or updated, maybe that's what it is, most recently updated in the Mozaik itself. So what I want it to do is I want it to build an AutoHotkey script to open up this opt.mru.dat file. I want it to erase this first line. I want it to paste in the job name that I have in that it's currently saved in the trigger script. Then I want it to save this file. And before I get it to do that, I want it to focus on, which is scripting language, focus on the window that contains the word optimize with an exclamation mark. I want it to, highlight this window. I want to type Control S to save the job that's currently open in the optimizer. I want it to exit the optimizer. Then that's when I want it to go into the opt.dat file. I want it to insert my current job name. Then I want to reopen the optimizer. I want to highlight the optimizer. I want it to hit tab on the keyboard so it goes down to the file. I want it to hit enter on the keyboard, and I want to arrow down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times to get to the first recently opened file. Then hit enter. Boom, now it's open. So you got to write that out, send it over to ChatGPT. So I wrote this out earlier. So what I'm asking it to do is, after task, I did ask it to call this task trigger v1. So after that, we will modify the second line of that file. We'll erase the current text and paste the job name that we saved. We'll search for a window that contains optimize in the title, activate the window, keystroke tab, wait 1 second, keystroke enter, wait 1 second, keystroke tab 8 times, and then hit enter. So we're going to hit go. And ChatGPT will do another script for us. Gives us also a quick rundown of what the script is supposed to do. So copy that code, replace the current code in your folder or in your script file, and then rerun that. So as you can see here, we take our barcode, we scan it, and it automatically opens everything, closes everything, and simple as that. ChatGPT saves us lots of headaches and certainly user interaction. We can just scan a barcode and we're good to go. Our scanner here is a Terra 6800 or 6900 or something. We got it on Amazon. Nothing fancy. It was only like $40 or something, but certainly very, very nice to have, that's for sure. Okay, so we're at the CNC controller. You can see I've printed out the page with the barcode on it. Job name is Tim Brown. Take our barcode scanner hanging up here, and we just scan it. And you can see here, saves it, closes it. Now it's changing the file, and it tabs down and opens up the Tim Brown job. So quite a bit of time savings and certainly less info transferring headaches. So hope this helps. Thanks for watching.